It lands in the landing zone on a hop, bobbled by Turpin, and here he comes. When the Dallas Cowboys have won, he's played at an MVP level. Their offense has been held down those losses at Denver, at home against Arizona, coming off a bye, and we'll see how they get after it here to start. They hand to. We'll look at the offense for the Dallas Cowboys. Their offensive line is young, good. They've got first-round pick Pickens, and their tight end outstanding, Jake Ferguson. Runs, and Williams out across the 30. Third down coming up.
Well, they start here in a 3 wide receiver set with Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, and Ryan Flanoy. So we'll find out. Unusual to begin this game.
They do have the receivers in there, as you say, but they're not named Lamb or Pick. Prescott. Crosby flushed him out. Flag on the play, and the pass in line. We'll check in with Brad Allen.
Holding. Offense number 7.
Not a good start whatsoever. That's really been the problem here over the last couple of weeks. Offensively for Dallas is downs, but the last 2 weeks far below their yearly average. And to come out here against a defense.
Trey Tucker, good young returner, and now the top receiver for the Raiders, waiting for it. Let's check in with Lisa Salters.
Yeah, Joe, I was just told by Cowboys PR that the reason's strictly a coach's decision. I asked, was this punishment of some sort? And I was told you'll have to address that with
Lisa, and maybe a message sent to their top 2 receivers.
I think you watch them at times this year. I think you could question.
For that first series, they were on the sideline. Geno Smith wide open. The outstanding tight end Brock Bowers.
I was looking forward to watching him play tonight. As he releases up the field vertically, you're going to see he stretches it, positions across the middle. Geno Smith puts the ball on him, and he's going to be the focal point of this offense tonight.
Genty, and he is brought down in the backfield by Malik Hooker. And it's nice for the Cowboys to have him.
And then the left guard here, or excuse me, tackle Forsyth, whether he's supposed to come off and pitch Genty in the backfield like what you just saw.
On second down, Tucker, and a quick tackle and a good tackle made by Durant Jr. We look at the season for Geno Smith, and one thing he had been doing well in his time.
He's had a few that have gone through people's hands, and you can't do anything about that. But by and large, the interceptions.
On third down and 7, extra men on the rush. Smith gets away, and it's fourth down.
Well, being able to protect Geno Smith, he is constantly under duress in the pocket and really not able to get through his. You got to be able to protect the quarterback, and you've got to be able to create more running lanes than what this group has done offensively.
Kenneth Raiders say his pass protection, it showed up there. The punt by Cole, and down inside the Pickens and Lamb to the field for the first time tonight. Second possession for the Cowboys. There's our buddy Jim Gray. Tom Brady, minority owner, no headset on this Monday night as Javonte Williams on first down gets 9.
Well, we talked about Javonte Williams coming in to this ball game and maybe his father being Marty Schottenheimer, and everybody knows about Marty Ball and how much he liked to bludgeon people with the run game. And we really have.
First down of the night for the Cowboys as Williams gets it.
So Javonte Williams, of course, his story too, and has really spent the last couple of years just trying to get back to being his old self. And this year he's done that. He's given games. So how much more can you give him? I'm not real sure. And the only other back they have is Malik Davis. But they would.
And the ball is out. Raiders on top. Las Vegas football. Max Crosby just keeps coming after you. And he finally got home.
Crosby comes in. Dak Prescott had to double clutch it. He didn't like what he saw downfield, and rightfully so with CeeDee Lamb. And as Dak Prescott tries to tuck it, Max Crosby, who never takes a play off, he's able to jar it loose.
Stands.
Yeah, I think it does. It looks like the ball's starting to come loose just as the hand starts coming forward. I don't see an.
The year first time he lost a fumble is the rookie Tonka Hemingway came away with the ball.
Cowboys team the last couple of weeks. They had protected the ball decent, but the last 2 games, both losses, 5.
Smith, pressure, sacked. Playing alongside the new pickup Quinnen Williams, and a loss of 7.
You see Kenny Clark in the middle. Here's Tyler Lockett, and that's where the protection wasn't that bad compared to what the design of the route was.
2nd and 17 now, and now they swing to close down on that and make a quick tackle, a gain of 5, so 3rd and long.
Yeah, this is so in the red zone in recent games and haven't been able to capitalize, and it's kept them from being able to win. And this is a
eyes on 92. He's the newest Cowboy, Quinnen Williams, 3-time Pro Bowler, former All-Pro, and former.
Yeah, right idea there by Geno Smith. Logan Wilson is in coverage, and he's hoped Tucker's just not going to be able to get over the top of him, and so that he'll pull up, and that's just.
He wanted more than a field goal try, and it's the usually reliable Daniel Carlson who has points off the turnover. And Carlson now 13 of 17.
Great to see him on the big board.
Absolutely. Here's Turpin on the return. Spun down 3 yards. We've only seen one play so far with Lamb and Pickens on the field together. And then a fumble.
Yeah, not the way they drew it up. When they were writing out the first 20 plays, has time to throw, and they can use the play action game. That is when they're at their best.
Pressure off the edge. There's Pickens. Perfect throw. Count, gain of 12.
Yeah, that'll be a pretty good matchup. Stokes, he'll play his side, so you'll see him matched up on Pickens as well as CD Lamb. They're on 1st down.
Isaiah Polamalu. The safety was coming on the blitz. Nice gain on 1st down. Tyree Wilson on the tackle. Let's go down to Laura.
So far this game, but instead of resting on their laurels, it actually has them hyper-focused. The coaching staff saying, you better be ready.
We shall see. Time will tell. Patrick Graham in year number 4 as defensive coordinator here. Here's Lip going forward for 15 yards.
Yeah, you know, when you play fullback, really in any offense around the league these days, you don't get many opportunities.
Hands Dak does to Javonte Williams, and he gets 8. Devin White,
I like what Dallas is doing. Now they'll go to a little sugar huddle here, but they're not going to spend a lot of time in this huddle. We saw them get right to the line fast. Sometimes you slow it down, but you dictate the speed in which you play.
3 tight ends in the game for the Cowboys.
Had a chance. They're trying to get the ball into CD Lamb. Caillou Blue Kelly, number 36. He's there in the middle of knocking that down with Thomas Booker. But there's CD Lamb. That's that hole in that zone that they're trying to feed the ball in. I would think it is.
Prescott in trouble. Here by Devin White. And, well, we rarely see it, but
Schottenheimer was thinking, and I asked him in our call this week as to what his thoughts were on analytics, obviously playing a big part in the game. A couple of weeks. Last week or 2 weeks ago, they went for it. They didn't make it. They settled for the field goal against Denver.
Through, like Schottenheimer told us, I hear my dad in my ear all the time. Take the points this past year. Born in Jacksonville, Florida. He went to middle school in Virginia, over there for 3 years total. Competed in high school in Frisco, Texas, college in Boise. A lot of room in front of Geno Smith, and the pass is caught by the rookie Besh. His 8th catch.
Action, and you're going to see Sam Williams here. He's got to contain. He's got to get up the field, and he's got to be the defender that keeps Geno Smith from getting out. Nice way to set up this drive.
For Besh, his longest catch since the opener, a win at New England. Smith, Bowers, 1st down. To go in Denver.
Well, this is my first opportunity to watch him play live, and you watch him on film and how he began his career player. I mentioned it earlier when he got a ball that, you know, he's a fun player to watch. He's kind of a throwback in some of the things that he's a football player.
Play action from Geno Smith, and wide open is Ian Thomas.
Plays now where they've just kind of run this layer route. They've got 3 tiers to this throw, and Ian Thomas, who does it. Ian Thomas, he can get up the field and a big target. But they've had this open now.
Working against this defense for Dallas. It's been terrible this season. Genty, spinning catch. 1 on big knee injuries. This is his first game back. And a loss of 4. Quinnen Williams has the ability to really be an elite player if he can just stay healthy.
He can just stay healthy. He missed his entire rookie season with a torn blue guys that can really elevate a defense and the way in which he plays the game.
Up to knock it away, and Bland couldn't have timed it any better.
No, it was a perfect play by Deron Bland. He continues. He drives back and makes a heck of a play. You mentioned, Joe, his game against the Cardinals. That was about it when you start throwing the ball in his vicinity.
Geno Smith is swapped. And not alone. There was a meeting at the quarterback. And
by Stone Forsythe at left tackle and just not able to hold up. And that, as I mentioned earlier, drive, but Dallas is able to stiffen up down here and force them to potentially just 3 points.
The free, good. And the Raiders back on top by 3. On this November night, we will see those two players a week from tonight as Turpin returns. In the 49ers at 8 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage kicks off with Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew. What he did keeping the 49ers afloat. Then they get Brock Purdy back yesterday. He has 3 touchdowns and looked terrific.
But for him to do what he's now doing, they've won 5 of their last 7, playing some good football.
Pickens wide open on a play. They had 5 all of last year, and they're right there in the NFC South. Prescott out to his right and now finds Pickens again.
A good job by George Pickens. CeeDee Lamb. Dak Prescott buys himself a little bit of time, gets outside the pocket, is able to find Pickens for an easy pickup.
They may have somebody else. Here's a handoff to Malik Davis, who's brought up again for the 3rd time off the practice squad.
And you look around the league at some of these other tandems at wide receiver. This too is as good as there is. And years ago, you know, a lot of good things happen. You put the defense in a real bind, and part of that then is the run.
Boys at the end of quarter number 1 here in Las Vegas. A 10-yard carry by Javonte. Down to the other end of the field they go. Crosby has already made his presence felt. Discovery Land Company, high-powered suite. Here's Pickens, and great catch, but
arguably the best of his career. He was locked up, but you give Pickens an opportunity. I mean, we've seen him make some miraculous, a big possession, you know, really for both teams. Red zone possessions obviously big, but this has been the problem for Dallas. Big statement if they're able to at least close this one out.
Amazing camera work by Jason Jobs on that last. The bench, and now in the end zone, his 2nd touchdown of the year.
Well, they're in zone coverage and safety like they do. It opens up that seam route, and somebody has to be able to carry.
Extra point by Brandon Aubrey is good.
Are you ready for this?
Their first lead of the night.
Are you ready for this?
12th year they've done this in meals. Special at this time of year. Here's Mostert on the return to the 30.
Overshown took himself out of the game because of an equipment malfunction with his right knee brace. He came to the sideline and back on, and he seems to be good to go now.
Yeah, and Lisa, you talked about it, Troy, when we had JC in a ball game, and it was slipping around on Overshown.
Nothing worse than when the brace starts to slide.
It got 7.
And we got Chip Kelly now for the Las Vegas Raiders as the offensive coordinator. He was a coordinator last year for the Nets. He's been doing it a little bit this year with his hands tied behind his back with some of the struggles they've had in the offensive line. They've moved people. It's been a challenge, along with Brock Bowers missing some time due to injury.
High snap. Mostert is able to fight for Mostert, just picked up the 1st down.
And a lot of what he's done here tonight, and really much of the year, but especially tonight, world. And then Michael Mayer, who was a 2nd-round pick out of Notre Dame just the year before Brock Bowers back in 2020.
They fake it to Genty. Tucker, it bounces to him. The ball.
Yeah, and you can do a lot. It usually tends to simplify the defense a little bit, and when you've got tight, and then of course we saw what Ian Thomas was able to do as well on the ball that he caught, but it pretty much this offense
with a 1st down. Got a good block from Brock Bowers, who we just highlighted catching the ball, but he doesn't.
Not had much of an opportunity because of the issues, again, that they've had up front in week 4 against Chicago. But he just hasn't had a lot of those types of holes to allow him to get to the next level.
Can't throw the ball, and right now the Raiders don't have downfield threats. We talked about the tight ends, but really not much on the outside.
It really doesn't, although the Raiders, you know, of course, their former owner, Al Davis, just still coming along, and Geno Smith has had to spend a lot of time with these young receivers just.
And welcome to the Dallas Cowboys for big number.
Well, you got Will Putnam, who's making the start at center, and he has to face off here against Quinnen Williams, and he just defensive players in all of football. He hasn't had the sack totals this year like we've seen from him.
Smith throws and broken up. Genty the target, and out there on the edge, Kalen Carson made the play to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, I know. In visiting with Quinnen Williams, I think anytime you're an all-pro player, and it's great him really, he didn't catch the ball a whole lot there at Boise State, doing some things that he's not quite used to. But pairing him in the locker room, and this is his first opportunity. He's had a couple weeks off. He was on a bye week with the
Offense, number 6. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So you get a delay a game on the punt team to the loss at Denver. Darius Swinton has taken his spot. They've had 2 waiting for it, a little room in front of him. Got 1 block, now another, and is able to get to the 21. 4, the Fountain Blue. Exhibit was curated by Tom Brady. And sports. Back on offense go the Cowboys, leading by 4, and Javonte Williams gets popped by a
Landon Roberts. You can see is he's a downhill linebacker. I mean, that's what this guy has always been. He gets pounded.
10th year in the league. Blitz off the edge. Pickens makes it. Worked against Eric Stokes, got 10.
You know, we showed that great play there by Landon Roberts. The other linebacker that they have is initially with the Jets as he leaves the field now. But the good news is that he's been healthy. He's played every game, made him a linebacker. So that's where he's doing his work now for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Play action. Prescott right off the top of the grass and picks up 5.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think that one might have hit the ground. We'll take a look.
Pressure by Max Crosby and Jamin Davis, and Prescott had no chance.
Yeah, he just had to get it out. Damage down the field, but he's one of my favorite players to watch. He's as tough as they come, as a lot of Cowboys fans know. And in Wisconsin, and he's a heck of a player. He doesn't let up ever.
Coming up after a gain of 6, down to Laura Moore on Crosby.
Well, Joe, Max Crosby's in the touchdown, but because of the way everyone was responding, he said, we know that this team is going to score. He wants to see.
He is relentless. 3rd down and 4. 15 yards.
Well, it sure was. The timing. This is what we were seeing from Dak Prescott earlier in the year. And then he's just got to beat the defender to the inside. But here's a look at Dak Prescott. Just puts his foot in the ground, knows exactly where he's going to be, who they had moved over to the middle of the ball. When you start getting the ball out on time.
Crosby coming. They're going to mark him down with about a 9.5-yard gain. So 2nd down and less than 1 coming.
Has become one of the best blocking tight ends in football, and he did a heck of a job on that play. But then you see the lane that they just simply have not had much of this year.
Back to Williams. Round pick from Texas is inactive again for this game. They thought he'd make a bit of a impact in the pass game. If said it's not a time for him to start feeling things out, he's got to cut it loose, and right now he's not even active for the game.
He had a fumble a few games.
Prescott with good blocking, floated for CD. About layering the football. That was a beautiful throw from Dak Prescott.
It really was. He delivered the ball that he had. The one who's going to try to get underneath this, and that's who Prescott had to navigate. And so to lay it over the top, they want to line drive everything, and you got to have every club in the bag when you're making some of those throws.
And Crosby underneath. Javonte Williams made the stop.
Well, this defensively for the Raiders, just on this possession here with Just under 7 minutes here in the first half. They just simply cannot afford.
10th play of this drive. Looking left off, and Devin White. Roberts out there as well.
Yeah, you can always tell about a good defense in the way they rally to the football of them. Everybody flying to the football. It was an excellent job here by the Raiders defensively. You're going to see he makes the first
down and 10. Just get it away. Prescott underneath. Lipke broke one tackle, but he's short of a. And is Marty Schottenheimer going to ring in the ears of Brian Schottenheimer saying take the points?
He's not taking this decision. I think if Lipke made it a decision for him, if he had gotten tackled right where he caught.
Timeout Dallas. So during the timeout, we'll give you a look at CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens in their night, which started on the bench.
In this ball game, both of them getting involved equally. Here's the touchdown to CeeDee Lamb. Just really a good route. All love.
I was just kidding, guys.
Max Crosby at the bottom. Ferguson comes off uncontested and playing zone coverage down here on 4th down.
More surprised by the mime celebration. Looking around the imaginary wall. 69 yards, the touchdown, as Ferguson keeps adding to that career high. He's up to 7 on the year. 68 and 79-yard touchdown drives for the Cowboys. Bass was guilty of with touchdown passes. One to Lamb and one to Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, after that slow start.
17-6. Much to the dismay of Max Crosby, taken off. Put it together here in the first half. Leading by 11. Brevin Spanford couldn't bring him down, but teammates did after an 18-yard pickup. Ball IQ has grown this year.
Yeah, Jake Ferguson said he wanted to be intentional about the way he trained in the offseason, didn't want to be a robot in the airport. And they said this is the year he finally got over the hump. He could say, oh, this is where Dak wants me to be. He says it's completely on
league right now. Here's Geno Smith. And the pass is caught by the tight end Bowers.
And then you get Bowers down the field, and the only guy that Geno Smith really had to try to navigate then was Kenneth Murray, the linebacker. Drop back and have a clean pocket and find an open receiver.
Raiders have crossed midfield on each of their play action from Smith. Downfield, and watch out. Tucker, the target, on his first interception of the year.
He sure did, and I guess Geno Smith just never really could have been an absolute disaster. I really thought they might come out, the Raiders, and try to run the Super Bowl now for Las Vegas.
Bowers didn't get his head around. That pass came out fast.
Questions that Chip Kelly had coming into this game was exactly what Dallas was going to try to do defensively with their defensive line. Williams and Kenny Clark, and then Osa Odighizuwa. It gives you some flexibility in some of the looks that you're able to.
Smith, a long-time Seattle Seahawk, cut by Tennessee and signed here. Good for 14 and a
pocket. You know, he was released by Tennessee, and with his experience both with Pete Carroll and then along with Geno Smith and that he could trust to get the ball to.
So again, 5th time across. It's a bit of a new wrinkle. There's absolutely no balance to this offense tonight. It off 4 times.
Well, they've handed it off 3 times because Geno Smith scrambled on one of them. So first half.
How about another catch for the rookie Genty? And a first down as Leofeld
come away with that touchdown to Ferguson, and being down 2 scores to be able to. There's a looked like so much a grab, but it definitely turned his head.
Genty 4 catches, just 2 runs. Intercepted by Marquise Bell. Off the hand of a return of 25 yards, and Bell
Training day starts with a straight to condition. How I show up here is how I show up on game days. Okay, that was clean. Then I study my strong. Gotta keep my energy right, grab a Celsius.
When he was playing at Florida A&M, and it's Kenneth Murray who made the play.
Yeah, Kenneth Murray, he's able to get underneath this fell right there for the deflection, and we've seen a few of those type of interceptions by Geno Smith this year.
Did by Lonnie Johnson. Had it and could not secure it.
Yeah, Schottenheimer, change of possession. You can catch a defense when they're not quite ready. Try to make a big play, get the ball up just a little.
Good defensive play there by George Pickens.
It really was.
Lonnie Johnson, first game back, and he almost had a pick. What a good play here by Tyree Wilson.
Tyree, but someone opposite him has to start applying a little more pressure.
It'll be 3rd down and 10 when we Cowboys. Extra men on the rush. Prescott throws. A lot of contact and a flag. The offensive backfield. Max Crosby had pressure. There are 2 different fouls on the
rush. They were locked up in man coverage, so Dak Prescott can just simply pick the matchup that he liked best. But you're right, between those two, that's where the flag came in. Right there.
As Tyler Guyton and Allen sorts through it.
Play, both by the defense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 51. That penalty is declined.
Take another look at this action. Okay.
I think he'll be okay.
I don't know.
It's a 22-yard penalty on the pass interference. Probably dinner theater happening right now somewhere in Vegas. Cirque du Soleil. Something. Here next year.
We'll see Tyler Guyton.
Here's Javonte Williams. Ball comes out.
Down by contact.
He was down by
the field is down by contact.
Cowboys got on it anyway.
Really impressed with what I've seen. That he was down. The left knee was on the ground before the ball came out, but just threw it, and he's just been one of the real pleasant surprises for this team.
Dallas, their second.
Dallas, because of a strained quad, sitting on the sideline. Troy circles Max Crosby.
Yeah.
One shut down for a false start.
False start. Offense, number 73.
Really, since he came here to the Raiders, and it's just not a lot of playmakers on this defense. And watched it, and he's really the only guy on this defense that's been able to apply much pressure on a quarterback throughout this season.
Step into it. It's got Pickens. Good move. Nice cutback and a touchdown. Boy fans celebrate. Flags at the end of the play. Maybe for the celebration to the ground.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. After the play is over.
They put Ferguson over there on him, and then they kick out Tyler Smith, and he helps double to neutral catch for the touchdown. There's a good look at the route. Score.
Makes this a 48-yard extra point by Aubrey. And this will be offside against the defense.
Up.
As Brett Allen checks with the Cowboys sideline where they want to enforce it. And that was the longest play of the night, the 37-yarder, a touchdown to George Pickens. And he's got 6 catches for 101 and that touchdown.
Well, this offense has looked like what we saw. It's been tough sledding 3 of the last 4.
Offside. Defense, number 49, lined up in the neutral zone.
After that offside. A look at George Pickens and his trip down the field. That cutback got him in by Aubrey from the 40. They did accept that offside penalty on the extra point in the return tonight. And after those early stumbles, a 3-and-out and a fumble, he has spread it around and
were able to get on him. They've really not been able to get any pressure on him whatsoever. So, and he's playing good football. He's going to carve you up, and he has tonight.
Here's Mostert. who trail now by 18 points. For Dak Prescott, a Cowboys record 41st game. Sideline nearly picked. Diving try by Deron Blank. Down now on the far side of the field. Here's a call.
Yes. Holding. Defense, number 34.
6 new faces on this defense. There's the hold for the automatic first down. Compared to Smith. Goes across his body and able to get it to Tucker to the 35. Take one, the Raiders do. Last game added via trade Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson on their defense, and returning from injury is Savon's really shown up here tonight.
Yeah, that's a good group, and it makes them better when they're out there on the field. We've seen Raiders. This offense has had some real issues. 5 times this year they've had less than 300 yards of total offense, twice less than 2. But they are better with those players. Savon Revel, he's playing for the first time. He was the one who was called on the holding penalty.
After the completion, Bowers makes the catch. Timeout, Pete Carroll made that stop, and a gain of 7. So 34 seconds remain. It's second down, and we'll welcome you in. Good for Dallas. It needs to tonight against the Raiders, and the defenses look pretty good.
Yeah, this is what we expected. Had the bye week last week. They're playing on a lot of emotion, having lost a teammate, and the offense has shown up, and the defense has done some good. And then they got some of these injured players you mentioned. They're back in the lineup. It's what the Cowboys would expect to see, especially
the target with the rookie Savon Revel defending. Revel months ago, he slid to the 3rd round. They got him. He's rehabbed the knee, and now here he is. He's a big guy, 6'2", almost
where they did in the 3rd round. Obviously, it's because he's coming off that big injury, but you know, the Cowboys are typically stronger than ever.
Here's Mostert. He gets a first down, and timeout is taken the final round. Raiders, by the way, get the ball to start the second half, so after halftime, maybe they can climb back into this game.
I mean, this drive's a nice drive for them. Just to you know, this has not been a big play offense. The big plays have been hard to come by. So, you know, what we've seen, chunks.
First down, and it's an incomplete.
And I think it should be. It never got to the line, and he's within the pocket. Take a good look at it here. Quinnen.
There is no flag.
That's shocking.
And a near sack with Williams, and it was close enough.
On that play, 53 for Dallas did contact the quarterback, and they determined that effect.
Cowboys have 3 sacks in this half. Flag. Tyler Lockett on different pages of the playbook.
Well, Tyler, he raises his hand like he knew the corner was sitting on 5 yards.
Replay the down.
They pick up 5 yards here with Clowney caught in the neutral zone. You see Lockett here at the top of the screen, and he just sees Revel sitting on the route. He's going to run.
Second down and 5. Smith. Time runs out, and he just has to throw. 3rd down and 5. And there's only 8 seconds remaining, and the Raiders have to be real careful
to bounds because they won't be able to stop the clock. They can't get anybody on the field. So Gino's going to try to take a shot. Now, the thing that causes you to calm the praise is the fact that this O-line's
lost Jackson Powers Johnson to IR with an ankle injury last game. And so what they've done is in its center. That's how they've attacked it, as their 3rd round pick from Texas Tech, Caleb Rogers, is inactive. So 3rd down and 5, 8 seconds left, and no timeouts on either side.
It's a shot into the end zone.
Playing with fire a little bit here as Smith lets it go. Another Carson, Daniel Carlson, will come in and attempt the field goal as Caleb.
And once you get him on your hip, if the ball's on him, if he throws it right at the back of the helmet of Bauer, come back to the pylon.
38-yard try for Daniel Carlson, and has accounted for all the points for the Raiders in this first half. Stopping by, it's a 15-point game at the half. And the Raiders will go to work on offense. Flauby on the return, and he's out to the 32. And so we'll welcome you back inside our broadcast booth. Joe Buck, middle of the field, get across midfield. They just haven't been able to get into the end zone.
They haven't, and they've threw the ball 90% of the time. They're in Ashton Genty, just 2 carries. I would expect this first down to be a carry, quite honestly, and I think we're going to see more of the run game.
Genty over the right side, and he is washed out of bounds with a loss on the play. In there to make the stop, and as they place the ball down, it'll be a loss of 3.
Yeah, Ezraku defense, but he was a bright spot on a defense that was struggling. Earned the starting job against the Arizona Cardinals, his first NFL start.
Broke 1 tackle, and there to clean up is Reddy Stewart. Talked about the run game for the Raiders. Their fewest first half rush, alluded to just his 3rd carry of the game. And Chip Kelly is trying to find, I wouldn't know it by how they played tonight.
And they got the big 3 inside. Dallas does, these big defensive tackles.
Bowers, it's broken up. And that's Bland, the corner on the tight end to bring.
Brock Bowers is able to do. Deron Bland, their number 1 corner. He's just locked up here on 3rd down.
For Deron Bland.
It really is. And he needed it. And, I mean, what he put out there against the Arizona Cardinals, it's been a good night for him.
Cole hits a beauty. Turpin will let it go over his head and a roll by A.J. Cole. Instead, 64 yards into the end zone. And then able to break loose for a straight scoring drive. The last 3 were touchdowns. They have the ball in a 15-point lead.
Well, Javonte Williams, he may set a seat versus the Green Bay Packers in that shootout that went into overtime, ended in a tie. But it looks like tonight.
Crosby chasing down Prescott. Pickens is able to break a tackle, maybe 2, and get a first down. That deal the Cowboys did with the Steelers, and he has been their best.
Yeah, he really has. He's had a heck of a night here tonight. What happens to him at the end of this year, and whether or not the Cowboys, that would be a lot of money tied up.
Javonte Williams on first down. It's reminiscent of the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
With the money time as you manage the salary cap. Well,
it's not the fair. That's right. But
Years has played well, and it's 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, he has played well. He's had a bit. He's gotten an opportunity here in Las Vegas with Pete Carroll just trying to get the ship.
Down and 4. Pickens with a first down catch. Looking for a big play and a nice try, but no an effort by George Pickens. And a catch and run, more the run than
allow the receiver on the inside. And you see him turn with his back to the middle of the field. He's anticipating that Pickens is 10-6, won a playoff game, and got to the divisional round before losing. But, you know, Jerry Jones could ignite this team and put them right back in the middle of the race.
Handoff to Malik Davis. Good, strong week number 11. You've got the division leaders on the far left. The conference leader, the Eagles, they won last night at home. On the right side, Jason Rickle on our crew, always keeping us on our toes.
Going.
Here's Ferguson with a catch, and he's ridden out of bounds. As the play is.
They're just playing with a lot of confidence. They had those 2 games where they just, well, really 3 out of 4. The loss, you know, this has looked more like the unit that we had seen through much of the early part.
Back losses looking good tonight. Here's Pickens, another, and just still rumbling, reaching for the end zone, but made that play, but 18 yards.
Well, I mean, you look at the release that Pickens, we've seen it.
Here's Davis on 1st and goal. Kelly again.
You know, we heard Laura when she talked coming into this game. He did not see this coming. I mean, this defense has, they've done a lot of good things, and they were showing some progress, and he really felt that the defense, even though this is a really good offense, and not dismissing that.
2nd down and goal. Prescott wide open. Touch.
You know, Joe Ryan and George Pickens, that's the way it works. But this is a great route. And he's an excellent receiver. I just really like what he's able to do. He's not going to get a lot of chances, but down here in the red zone, excellent route, creating separation. Dak Prescott finds
Illinois, 6th round pick from Southeast Missouri State. Dak Prescott, 4 touchdown passes, 4 different receivers with the addition of Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, they sure are. I mean, that has been the strength of this defense already. And now that's a formidable group, and we've seen those 3 on the field at times. But Quinnen Williams, I mean, he can be an absolute game wrecker.
Plowing across the 35 and getting out near the 38. Yeah, it's been. Then he gets traded to the Cowboys, who were on a bye. So he comes into this game well rested, hadn't played in a couple of weeks.
And I thought it was interesting in talking with him how much he still leans on the words of Nick Saban. Having players that are no longer playing football hear those words of Saban in their sleep often, that has inspired them to be better.
Via trade for a 7th round pick from Cincinnati. He was a good player with the Cincinnati Bengals, but he had lost playing Dallas, a guy who, when he was with the Bengals, his nickname was the Cowboy.
Yeah, and I think that even, he helps them others, and everyone with the Bengals would tell you the same.
Here's Mayer. He is going to be
it will be, as we talk about with Dallas, what this will look like. I mean, it looks really good tonight, but when you look at what they have coming up with Philadelphia and Kansas City, the Lions, Vikings, do.
And this will be
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that's a left tackle, Stone Forsythe, as these Raiders are sprained and a fracture in his ankle that he suffered week 4 in a loss to Chicago. So Forsythe, who was with Pete. Made, and Bowers is going to be short of 1st down yardage, and I would think with the score
play by him, he's locked up. We've seen that matchup now a few times here tonight, but to be able to get Bowers, it was a good catch by, it's a pretty good tackle on the big guy.
Brock Bowers, 235 pounds to run. And Ezeraku is on a knee, getting checked out. We'll take a break. 4th down for the. Tell you what happened in a moment. 4th down and 1 for the Raiders, trying to stay alive in this game. Tossed to 1st down. Ezeraku got hit by Stone Forsythe as he came around the corner and landed flat.
I know anyone at home who's had back pain, their back's hurting right now as well.
They fake it to Mostert. Mayer.
We talked about Michael Mayer a little bit earlier in this ball game, and Brock Bowers, and I know he didn't like it, but yet he used it to his advantage and just said, make things for this offense. He's a solid player.
Nice job by Geno Smith to get up and a 1st down. And those 2 tight ends, Laura, are good friends, Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer.
Yeah, they really have a ton. It's all the tee times because he's got the connections around here, and then they go golf together. But Mike's like, I'm a better golfer, so I beat his butt.
2 high draft picks. And a drop by Bowers. So much that when he was sitting there at 13 overall last year, they took him, and then he rewards the organization with an.
I thought it was interesting talking to Chip. He said that if Brock Bowers was a linebacker, he'd be a Pro Bowl linebacker. I mean, he's just wired. I think it's a good package to run, and they run it a lot.
Mostert gets 2.
At least as I'm up here broadcasting, but when you've got 2 good men with 3 linebackers, and if you've got a talented guy like Bowers, there's a lot of positive things.
Take his word for it. 3rd down and 8. Lockett with a nice catch on a good throw. Tyler Lockett, who was signed at the end of October seasons. He's a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro as a returner way back in 2015. 10th play of the drive. Genty with a rare carry and right into the arms of Kenny Clark. With the New York Jets had to be thrilled that big number 92 was added before the deadline.
Well, Will Putnam's back, and this is what Genty talked about it a little bit early in this. The ball, he's getting hit.
Smith, time runs out, being And a gain of just 1. And just to put a number to it for Ashton Jenkins. And again, the Raiders will keep the offense out there and go for it, down 31-9.
Yeah, they've got to finish it here on 4th down, but it's just kind of what it's been throughout this game and throughout the year. At least with what they've been able to do on this drive, they're able to at least finish it off.
Smith with room in front of him is going to go, gets around Logan Wilson and slides with a first down.
Yeah, good job here by Geno Smith. As you know, he's got a little bit of time and he steps up. Nobody there. First-year player who was right there to make a play on him, but a good job of at least converting and keeping the football.
Inside the 10 tonight for the Raiders. Got a block from Mayer, the tight end, out there on the edge.
Yeah, you're going to see right here, you got both, and he's got to go punch it in. He's one-on-one on Donovan Wilson, and he's able to do that. And this is a guy who's having to be the #1 guy, but I think he's got a really bright future. He really is a good young player.
Extra point is good clock. And we're back to a 15-point game, 4th quarter in Vegas. And there's a lot to dissect with these two, their history, what Pete Carroll, and will return it with some room out in front of him and able to cross the 40-yard line. And that was his hero, Marty Schottenheimer, but he's more like Pete Carroll as a coach.
What I thought, Pete asked him, what do you believe in? And Brian said he really didn't have an answer. And he said about, and of course those years that he had with Pete, like so many assistant coaches, really helped shape
and turn it into a positive play. Yeah, he said, you know, you're a football savant. You've been around it your entire life, trailing around philosophy, and it forced Brian to really think for the first time himself what meant the most to him.
And around a head coach like Pete Carroll, as positive as he is and all the energy that he brings and the competition, pretty funny. Have a shoot off. There's a basketball goal there in the locker room. They do all kinds of things to create competition.
And Pete,
I know those other guys.
Yeah, you sure do. Barry Switzer and Jimmy Johnson and Pete Carroll, the third member.
This is an organization that hasn't had much success in the last couple of decades, and stick with
4th down. And the Raiders can make this a ball game here. It's 4th down and 7 with just under 12 to go.
To make the catch, and it's a good job defensively after they were able to finish that last drive. Took a lot of time off
this. Ownership, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, just impressed. Getting his team ready to play. As this ball bounces, is fielded by Tucker, who's
kind of caught. He probably would have been better off just letting it roll and hopefully get into the end zone. He just wasn't real sure what to do. I would go hard play action. They've got 3 tight ends. It's a good opportunity.
And they're going to go back to the 1.
Yeah, it's number 71. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
It's a good time to use hard count if he was. Yeah, a little bit, and then he snapped it right on after. But because you're only going to, I like hard play action, but not here on the 1-yard line.
Watch out here,
Ruling on the field is a safety.
Genty, when he gets the ball, Joe, he feels Ezeraku and he kind of stops. You see his feet as a young player, and I'm not saying he's going to make anything out of this, but just get it across the goal line at all up front.
Becomes a 17-point game, and the rookie Donovan Ezeraku, Donovan Wilson, they had a lot of players ready to make a play, but Ezeraku will get credit for the majority of it. And Russell Yerk, and that makes it a 17-point game, and the Cowboys will get it back after the free kick.
Thank you.
All set up after the punt, and kind of getting caught whether or not the field. Not a good sequence.
So we'll get the free kick, and Pete Carroll is going to go to the official, I believe, and say they're going to attempt an onside kick. Right, Russell?
Yeah, if you're going to do an onside kick, whether it's a safety or a regular kickoff, and Las Vegas is behind, so they definitely have that option.
indeed what happened. We're just assuming that that's what Pete Carroll went to the official to say. A.J. Cole trying to give his teammates a chance to recover this. It's got to be timed up right. And watch out for the offside here with the Raiders lined into the air. And recovered by Pickens. Why not? Add to his league. Good effort. It came down. It stayed in bounds, but it bounced right into the gut of George Pickens.
Yeah. Place kick it, drop kick it. They have all the options. It's just on the onside kick. Under the new rule, they can't kick it.
Pickens tracked it.
Yeah, they can absolutely call a fair catch on a safety kick.
They did it the old-fashioned. Raiders 40.
I stiffed it. I stiffed it. I stiffed it. See? I stiffed it.
Able to take it to the 35. Tackle made by Adam. Second down and 7.
Well, we mentioned Javonte Williams, whether or not he would set a season high tonight on rushing. You know, with where we're at right now in this ball game, I would expect to see him get more.
Predict it.
Yeah, well, over.
It's Vegas. It brings out the prognosticator in all of us. Here is Lamb. And
Field is down by contact.
A tackle by Eric Stokes right there. And now 3rd down and 1.
Well, I think right now for Pete Carroll and Patrick Hard and who's given up and who's going to finish this game for the Raiders.
Timeout's a little hot going to the sideline. Give you our game recap brought to you by Popeyes. He may be hot right now, but he was hot throwing the ball for the majority of this. And then Ryan Flanoy.
Yeah, and we'll hear from Brian Schottenheimer after this game. Tough running by Lipke again, but we'll find out from Brian Schottenheimer after the game exactly how much he's willing to reveal on. You've had the bye week. You're coming off a couple of losses. You haven't played as well as what you'd like. An opportunity, did it a lot, and the team typically responded to him, and this team has as well. So I think the situation this year really well.
Yep. Prescott in trouble, able to dump it to Turpin, and Jamal, and no gain on the play.
Well, Jamal Adams, you don't have to worry about him as far as, of course he has the familiarity with Pete Carroll, but he's an attitude guy. Needs in that locker room as he tries to turn this thing around.
Crosby was, now a flag comes in late. Let's see who this is against.
That might be on.
It's a 13-yard carry. Here's the call from Brad Allen.
After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness.
It's Tyler Booker, and they just lose field position of 15 yards. It'll be 1st down and 10. And watch Terrence Steele. The officials didn't see it. And then at the end of the play, right there, and back to 1st and 10 with the ball at the 26.
I still got the camera. I got it. What'd you say?
So whatever needed to get sorted out.
Well, Sarah Thomas, that's what Brad Allen.
I think they were just checking the down to make sure it was 1st and 10 because they'd reached the line to gain before.
They fake it to Williams, flip it to Ferguson. Adams gets the tackle, but a gain of 7.
Yeah, really nice job. I mean, it's set up really well, and it looked like the Raiders are going to get in, and this guy, I mentioned him earlier. This guy's as tough as they come. He's ripping.
2nd down and 3. 3rd down coming up. Max Crosby in on the step. You know what I haven't heard tonight? Is the.
I think I heard it in my sleep.
Talking about the cadence by Dak Prescott. At least it's been.
I don't know. Maybe I can't. But I was going to say, I think I can speak for most Cowboy fans and say they're happy about it.
Nope. 3rd down and 2. Play clock was at 0. Lamb with a catch and a 1st down. $6.5 to go against Philadelphia. And then they've got the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. All those teams made the playoffs last year. Their next opponent got wrestled backward by Butler.
Well, the Cowboys, as we know, they came off the bye week 1 against Philadelphia, and then the quick turnaround on Thanksgiving hosting Kansas City, which Post Malone will be kind of another mini bye. So, you know, anything can happen, as we know. But I think they'll leave.
Here's the tight end. Catch made by Brevin Spann-Ford. That's just his 4th catch of the year.
Him, and everybody kind of has their role, and for him it has been primarily a block. Everyone's getting an opportunity tonight. This could be a nice flight home for the Cowboys.
By the way, your prognostication skills. Carry number 22 and Crosby, but this would make it a 3-possession game if you kick the field goal. Safety, and then the free kick on the onside. Pickens, and now here in 8, beginning to the 2025 season.
This is their 4th regime in the last 5 years, and as we mentioned, Joe, just not much success.
Then Bisaccia, when Gruden lost his job, Josh McDaniels, Antonio Pierce, and now 4th best winning percentage in the league since 2020, and they have that 1 playoff appearance.
Who's now special teams coach with the Green Bay Packers. He did a heck of a job when he took over midseason, and it was the best year they've had here in Vegas.
17-point ball game, and now a miss on a drop night. And I mean, there was nobody there, and it's Raiders ball. Down pass a little short. Lamb can't get the catch. Last time the Raiders had it, they started at their 2, went to the pass is caught out on the edge by Genty. Kenneth Murray, who was made for Logan Wilson, and Murray's made a couple of plays in this ball game tonight.
He has. He was able to get underneath the one throw that I thought he played a little better in the Arizona game too. I don't know if he was aware that there had been a trip.
He was stopped short of 1st down yardage. It'll bring up 3rd down. Bowers was targeted just 1 catch. Tonight, different story. 12 targets, 7 for 72.
I mean, and he is the offensive coordinator, so I'm not shielding him from any criticism, but boy, when you
one to go, and Jerry Jones' team has won this game in all phases.
Yeah, he sure, and that's the first thing that they have to address. But I mentioned at halftime, Joe, that Pete Carroll, he's not a team that has thrown the ball 46 times and has run the ball 11, and a few of those have been run the football, and that's what their identity is going to be. So
12 players on the defense, half the distance to the goal,
which will move the ball closer. Brian Schottenheimer's team is just kneeling down, but you think about Kenny Clark, 3 sacks here in this ball game.
Well, and I do think that we'll see a little more of this next week when they play the full defensive ends and you get 5 big guys, and it really kind of mitigates the run game for an opposing offense. You weaken another. But I would think going against the Eagles and how they like to run the football, that we may see more of those guys on ball,
even with the Cowboys taking a knee, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning here in Las Vegas. To win number 4 on the year.
Dallas team, man.
Yeah, I think so. And at the Verizon, it's kneel down time, and think of what the Cowboys have been through. The loss days ago in the early morning hours, and this team trying to, and by all accounts, just a beloved teammate. All we have heard all week has been coming off the bye. I don't care who the opponent is. This is an impressive performance.
Yeah, but the impact in such a short period of time that Marshawn Nealon had with this, not just they came out here tonight as they hoped to do, and they were able to honor him with the way in which they played. So this was a real, that locker room should be proud of the way they came out and really dominated all phases of the game.
And getting his team ready to play as the clock after there for one more snap. Brian Schottenheimer has made his family proud with the job he's done here in this first year, navigating all that went into this 10 days.
That did that he thought that he would have had his opportunity a long time ago, and I bet he hit a point where he was wondering if he'd ever get a shot. So they felt that they could get, and now the road's just really beginning starting next week.
And I would imagine there will be an emotional